Can you all hear me? Hello? No? Yes?
Hi, Kim.
Oh,
Hi, Kara. Hi.
Oh,
Good.
good.
Nice to see you.
You too.
nice to see
Yeah, I
you.
can hear you, but sometimes it's very choppy.
Oh, that's not good. Um,
Hello.
that might be a
Hello.
bandwidth issue.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
All right, so we have. Hello? Looks like I got disconnected. Can you hear me?
Your connection is not so good.
Oh boy, this is not good.
I can hear you right now, but
You can
there's
hear me
times
now?
when it's really choppy.
Let's see if I
Right now.
can change the video so that I'm not using. Let's see.
Seems to be okay.
Hmm.
So is this workshop for anybody? I mean, is it for staff?
Anybody's allowed
Yes,
to
well,
join.
I'm doing because Rennie asked me to, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's made with students in mind, but staff can join certainly. Is my audio still breaking up?
Okay. At the moment, it's good
Okay, so things look like it's working.
for me. I mean, I don't know how it is for
I'm gonna,
everybody else.
okay, I'm turning off. I just noticed
Right
that
now it is.
HD was turned on, so maybe that will help now that I turned it off. But if you can't read the text when I start doing things, let me know.
Okay,
Okay, hopefully that will work better. All right. And all right, so that looks good. It is 4 after. I'll give one more minute to see if anybody is coming, and then I will begin. Good to see everybody. Looks like we have some teachers and students here today, so that's very exciting. So, okay, so it's 6:05, so we're gonna go ahead and start. So today we are going to talk about AI and how it can help you learn English. But before we go too far into this, who can tell me what AI is? It's a word that's been coming up a lot in the news, but I want to see who all really is familiar with it or who knows, who can guess what it might mean, AI. Anybody? Okay, well, I'll break it down into two parts. The first part is the A, which is, I'm going to open up a Word document so I can type it out. Bear with me, I'm still getting used to this software. Yay! Okay, there we go. So AI. The first is A, and that means artificial. So we've seen this word before. I think you can imagine something like, let's say you really want to have nice flowers for your house, and you go out and you buy some real flowers, and then what happens after 2 weeks? Your flowers are gonna die, and you won't have nice flowers anymore. Suddenly your beautiful yellow and red flowers have turned into brown flowers with the petals falling off. And so some people get fake flowers that look just as good as when you bought the real flowers every single day. And we call those artificial flowers because they look like they could be real from when you're standing far away, but really they're not real at all. And that's what artificial is, something that looks real and seems real, but isn't. Sometimes people have artificial plants is a big one. Who can give me another example of something artificial that they see in their everyday life?
Artificial leg.
Artificial lake?
Leg, yes.
Yeah, okay. That's actually a really good one because it looks like it is a natural lake where it was made by nature, but really it's just a hole that somebody made in the ground and put some water in it. So it looks like it could be real, but it's actually not a real lake. It's just something that someone made. So that's a good example. So the real idea behind
I'm wondering
artificial
if she said lake or leg.
Oh, leg. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so an artificial leg is something that I guess it could look real,
Did you
but
say leg?
then
Leg, yes. The
leg.
second
Oh,
one.
I'm sorry. I misunderstood. But that's another good example. So it's like a fake leg that helps you walk around, and it kind of seems like it's doing the thing of the real leg, but it's not a real leg. For example, if you poke it with a stick, you're probably not going to feel it because it's not real. You might feel it shake, but it's not the same as poking your real leg. So that is another example. It's something that's fake, but looks like it could be real. And then the second word part of AI is the I, which stands for intelligence. Does anybody know this word? It's related to intelligent. Okay, I just found out that my screen is frozen, but people can still hear me. Well, luckily you don't need my screen just yet. So intelligent is usually used to describe someone who's smart. They put ideas together, they have all these really good ideas. And so an intelligent person we think of as a smart person. Intelligence is just the noun version of that. So we're not using it to describe something. It can be the object. In this case, artificial is the adjective, and then intelligence is the noun. So now you have something that's fake and smart. You put these together. What do you think that might mean then, when you have something that's fake and smart together in one word? Did anybody have any ideas? Going once, going twice. Oh, okay, somebody's coming in. Okay, so something that is artificial and intelligent at the same time, it's something that looks like it's smart. It's something that looks like it has thoughts and thinking all by itself. It seems almost like it could be a person that you can talk to, but it only looks that way. It's not real. It's not truly intelligent. It doesn't have true smarts. It doesn't have true thinking and emotion the way that we do, even though it kind of can make us think that it does, because it can be it speaks so well that it almost seems like really it has to have some kind of thinking by itself, but it doesn't. So fake, smart, artificial intelligence. That's what happens when we break these into separate parts. Correct. And as Veronica said in the chat, it's not human. Everything that it knows, it's copying from something else. Someone had to show it everything that it says. So it had to see it somewhere. So it studies people's writing, it studies the internet, it studies many, many different things, and it kind of puts different pieces together in new ways. But it's not truly thinking. It can't have something that is completely new. It can't have a completely new idea that it's never been exposed to before. But we as people can, because we have true intelligence. We can have that new idea that nobody's ever heard of, no one ever has seen before. Okay. So now that we know what AI is, we're going to talk about using it to help you get practice your English and learn things that maybe you don't learn about in a normal classroom. And to begin, we're going to talk about ChatGPT. That's the name of the program and the website. And it's probably the most famous AI right now because so many people use it. And thank you for putting that in the chat for me. Are you able to read the text that I have here in Word, or is it too small for you all? Hello?
It's very small because I think the new Zoom oh yeah, it's very small. Okay, we can see it better.
Okay, yeah, I just kind of zoomed in a bit. Okay, thank you. So,
Are you sharing?
Uh-huh.
Are you sharing your screen?
I'm using a
Or
virtual webcam that makes it so that I can show my desktop and my face at the same time.
maybe you could spotlight yourself or highlight yourself, like speaker view.
Speaker view.
Carol, he's
And
new using Zoom, so maybe you can walk him through it.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I
I
haven't
mean,
used Zoom that
up
much.
at the top right corner, it says view, and then if you click on that, it'll show you speaker view or gallery view, multi-speaker. So like I could put you on speaker view for myself.
Oh, I
I
see
can
what you're
see
saying.
everything much bigger.
Speaker view. Right, view profile. Sorry, I'm kind of new to Zoom. It's every, let's see here. You're talking about the three dots in the corner of my,
No,
this is embarrassing.
that's all right. Don't worry about it. Just continue on. I don't mean to interrupt.
All right, so anyways, when we have a break, I will figure that out and I will come back to that. I always tend to assume that when I'm talking, it's showing my screen on there. Oh, wait, view. Okay, so yeah, it has speaker checked. So, okay. Anyways, so, so if you don't have it already, if you have a smartphone, I would consider going to the App Store, either on your iPhone or the Play Store if you're using Android, and searching for ChatGPT. Because that way you'll be able to follow along with your own device. If you don't have a smartphone on your computer, you can go to this web address. Chat.openai.com. I'll type it in the chat here too.
Hmm.
And then I'm gonna go there myself. There we go. So, actually, I'm going to show you my phone view here. So the first thing that we can do is use it to practice our conversation. And usually this is something that I save for a much later lesson. But because this is so useful for people that are learning to speak English or really any other language, I want to show it here. And once you have the app installed, you'll see a little headphone looking thing in the corner. Can you see my phone screen on your, do I need to make it a bit bigger? Are you able to see my iPhone? I don't hear anybody. Hello?
openai.com. And so here you can just go ahead and you can start. I already have an account, but you can click it, and then you can start like asking questions like, what should I cook for dinner tonight? Just an example. What should I cook for dinner tonight?
Hello,
I
can people hear
have
me?
tomatoes. Yes, we're doing an example. We were just kind of waiting for you. And so
Yeah,
he,
I seem to be having internet issues tonight, which is weird because I don't usually have those.
yeah, no worries. It happens. So we're just I just show them how I use it, but you please by all means go ahead and continue.
All right, now let's see. I got to minimize this window here.
Okay.
Continue with what you're doing while I kind of
Okay.
reconfigure everything on
All
my
right.
side because it closed my whole thing.
No worries. So as you can see, guys, here's the information. So here are a few ideas for dinner using tomatoes, and it just gives me all of the different options. So you can really ask it whatever you want. Where is it affordable to travel in October in the United States? And it's going to provide you all the different information. So it's great because if you were to do this by yourself, you would have to research, a lot of different places. And this way, it just gives you all the information. So if you have an question regarding English, like for example, what is passive voice? And it's going to also tell you and explain it.
Okay.
And
I
then
think I'm ready to go once you're finished.
excellent.
with what you're
Justin, yeah,
saying.
I'm done. I was just kind of showing them what to do.
Yeah, sorry guys. It seems like my internet is messing up this evening. Not sure. Maybe it's because somebody else is like streaming a video for her class in the same house or something. But let's see here. Okay, so are you able to see my iPhone right now? Like, are you able to see that okay?
Yes.
All right, and you can see my mouse. Okay, so right here, where I have my mouse here, you see a little headphone looking thing. Um, and what this does is it enables, it turns on the voice mode so that you can talk to it with your voice, and then it will answer back with its own voice. And usually I wait to teach people about this until much later, But because this is a situation where you want to practice your English and get as much practice as you can, this is actually one of the best things, at least in my opinion, for helping you practice your English. So I'm going to go ahead and tap it. And I want to show you how you can have a natural conversation. So I'm just going to ask it about something simple like cooking dinner or how to make the perfect steak. And then I'm going to tell it that English is not my first language, and I want it to help me learn some new vocabulary related to cooking steak. So we'll do this right now, and hopefully you'll hear it talk back to me with my microphone. Hello. I need to plan a dinner, but I also want to practice my English because English is not my first language, and I'm hoping you can tell me how to make a really good steak for my family and also teach me the vocabulary about cooking steak at the same time.
I'd be happy to help you make a great steak and learn some new vocabulary. Let's start with the basics. 1. Cut of steak. You might choose from a few different types of steak, like ribeye, sirloin, or filet mignon. Each has a slightly different flavor and tenderness. 2. Seasoning. Before cooking, you'll want to season, add salt, pepper, or other spices your steak. A common phrase is to season generously, which means to add enough seasoning to cover the steak well. Sear. The next step is to sear the steak. This means to cook it quickly on high heat to give it a nice brown crust on the outside while keeping the inside more tender. 4. Medium rare. When you're cooking steak, you might aim for medium rare. This means the steak is cooked on the outside, but still a bit pink and juicy in the center. Other levels of doneness are rare, medium, medium well, and well done.
Stop.
5.
So if it's talking too much, you can tell it to stop and just hit the red X. And now you can continue. Okay, so you gave me a lot of words, but I don't know what some of those words mean. Can you explain sear to me, and ribeye and medium rare?
Of course. Let me explain those words for you. 1. Sear. To sear something means to cook the outside of the food at a very high heat, usually in a hot pan or on a grill. This creates a brown, crispy crust on the outside of the steak, while the inside stays soft and juicy. The high heat locks in the flavors. It's like giving the steak a quick, strong cook to make the outside tasty and browned. 2. Ribeye. A ribeye is a type of steak that comes from the rib section of a cow. It's known for being very flavorful and tender because it has more fat than other types of steak. The fat in the steak helps make it juicy and rich in flavor. 3. Medium rare. This describes how much the steak is cooked. When you cook a steak to medium rare, the inside of the steak is still pink and juicy, but the outside is cooked. It's one of the most popular ways people like their steak.
Okay, so that was just a quick example. And then everything that it says, you can see it has it here. And then if you want to go back, you can see all of the vocabulary that it used and the definitions. But sometimes it talks too much, but you can control it by saying, don't talk so much. Like, so for example, I'm going to pretend like I really didn't want to listen to all of that. And I'm going to tell it to, be more to the point. That was a lot of words. Can you just tell me a simple answer, like a simple explanation for each vocabulary word, just a few words, and like just use simple English so I can understand. Also, my first language is let's see, my first language is French. So can you also tell me the word in French?
Sure. I'll keep it simple and add the French translations too. 1. Sear. Cook quickly on high heat to make the outside brown. Saisier. 2. Ribeye, a steak with more fat, very flavorful and tender. French côte de bœuf. 3. Medium rare. Cooked outside, pink and juicy inside. French à point. Is that clearer? Let me know if you need more help.
See, so that was a lot faster and to the point. Really, it will do whatever you want it to do. You just have to know how to tell it what you want. And that is the trickiest thing. I don't really speak French, but I just picked a random language so that it would be able to say the word in a person's first language. This ChatGPT, it can speak, I think it's like 139 languages. So just about any language it will understand. So for example, if you want to give it an instruction that is something that you don't know how to say in English, you can switch into your first language and tell it what to do, and then switch back into English and say, but I want you to answer me in English. And so this offers a lot of benefits. But I want to see, so can any of you tell me some ways that this is really helpful in day-to-day life in learning English? Can you think of some ways that this might be useful? I can give some examples. So let's say I really, really love playing tennis, and I don't understand all of the words in tennis because they don't teach them in my class. Like they don't teach me the words for all the rules. They don't tell me the name for all of the equipment because that's not a normal thing we learn in an ESL class. I can tell it that I want to have a conversation about tennis, and they will teach me each of the new vocabulary words as we're going, so that now I have the English vocabulary for something I really like to do that I've been doing for many years at home. And now I can talk to people now that we're in a new country. So I'm in the US now. I can now talk to people who are native speakers about the thing that I already love and use the right vocabulary so they understand what I'm talking about. And that helps you to kind of make friends. And when you have friends that speak the language that you're learning, your language usually grows even more quickly. It grows faster because you're using it more in normal life situations. So this is really okay. So with pronunciation, so that's kind of tricky. It can show you the phonetic way to pronounce something. So phonetic means like it can spell out the sounds. But right now, as of today, I say this carefully because very soon this is going to change with probably within the next 6 months. It will be able to correct you when you're speaking, but right now when you're using the speaking chat, it won't be able to correct that pronunciation. But if you don't know, it can spell it out phonetically and then it can speak it to you as of right now. But because they already showed us that what they're going to release, the new thing for the next version, which they're saying should be out within 3 to 6 months, that one can do it, and they already demoed it. It's just that we can't use it yet because they haven't made it available. So the answer is kind of right now, but in the future, yes. In the near future, yes. It will be able to listen to your words and correct you. It is very good at correcting grammar, although sometimes it's very polite and it doesn't want, so if it understands your meaning, even if you use incorrect grammar, it usually will not correct you. But if you tell it specifically, I'm really worried about my grammar, can you correct my grammar when I make a mistake? Then it will stop and say, okay, it will say if it understands your meaning, and then it will correct the grammar and explain the rule that was broken. But as with everything, you have to tell it very specifically, this is what I want you to help me with. Because if you don't say that, then there's a good chance that if it understands what you want, if it understood the meaning of your words, it probably won't change the grammar. Okay. So, do all of you have it on your phone at this point, or is it, oop, I need to maximize that. Does everybody have it on their phone to give this a test with the speaking? Okay, so I would like everybody to say this. I will type it in the chat. Hello. Um, and then you should maybe say, and then just try using it and see how well, I don't see anybody using their phone. Um, so you have to, let me go back here. Remember, you have to click on the little headphone things if you want to use the voice and start speaking to it. I think it should be the same on Android. Um, okay, so if you want to be more direct, you can say something like, Get, can you teach me 5 new words about, and I'm just going to use a topic. You should choose something that is interesting to you, but like, how about biology? Oh, I just realized that it didn't send my first message to the chat. So you can say the first part, hello, can you teach or help me practice English? English is not my first language, and I want to learn vocabulary about, and then you pick any topic, and then we can have a conversation about it. And then you can say, can you teach me 5 new words about, and then I just picked biology, but you can choose any topic that you want where you feel that you need to know more important words. And if you don't have a phone, you can still use it on the website. It's just that you won't have the speaking option on the website, but you can type it and it will still teach you and have a conversation.
I have a question. Sorry. Can I ask?
Yeah.
When I ask question.
Mhm.
There is a mark. Don't share sensitive info. Chats may be reviewed and used to train our models. What does it mean?
Oh, okay. So this is basically just saying that if you don't want to say anything that's too personal. For example, you don't want to be talking about your bank information, or you don't want to be talking about how, like, some sort of really personal, emotional thing, because they are using the conversations that we have to teach the AI how to talk more naturally. And so they might be teaching the AI how to speak to people so that it becomes more like a human, using the conversations that we have with it. So basically, they're saying if you don't want any kind of personal information to be used to help teach the AI how to speak, then don't say it in the chat. And if it's not working, let me know. I can help you. And if, for example, your level of English is quite high, and it's teaching you words that are just too simple, you can tell it that. It's like, oh, these words, I already know all of this. Can you help me learn some more advanced vocabulary? And then it will give you more difficult words. It's so weird with everybody on mute. I'm used to a classroom where everybody's talking. And so I'm like, it's too quiet in here. But it's a little helpful because sometimes in the classroom, the two ChatGPTs will start talking to each other because they can hear each other. So there will be two phones and they start having a conversation. Yeah, it really is. My wife comes from Vietnam, and I have been asking her to use ChatGPT for conversation practice, and she asks it many questions, everything from like recipes, how can I make this for dinner, or if she thinks that someone's being stupid but doesn't want to hurt their feelings, how can I talk to this person? And it will give her some ideas. I mean, you can really ask it about anything about life, from really, you know, words for academic and business, but also just really simple things like, you know, how do I tell my friend that I don't want him to come to my party because I can only have 3 people and I have 10 friends. I mean, it will give you advice for those kinds of situations too. Sometimes it will be good, sometimes it is not.
So, Philip,
Yes.
I am using ChatGPT
Mhm.
writing assistant, and so last week I have email homework,
Mhm.
grammar and writing class, and then I put my email writing homework in writing assistant on
Mhm.
GPT, and then I'm curious some sentence
Mm-hmm.
It say, I write, I would like to share my trip in last summer.
Mm-hmm.
In ChatGPT is device. I wanted to share a bit about my trip last summer.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to ask which sentence is polite more than
So the second one that you said, it sounds more natural. They're both polite. Neither one of those is not polite. But I think that the second one sounds more natural. I would like to share about my trip last summer. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean that sounds more natural, but they're both polite. But you can ask it about tone, and actually I'm going to talk about that later for how you can use this at work. In fact, I have a coworker at the school, and he's from Korea, and English is not his first language, but he's been living here a very long time, so his speaking is quite good. I mean, sounds almost like native speaker, but his writing he worries about. And sometimes he has to send emails to parents of students because he's a teacher. And what he'll do is he'll type his email, put it into ChatGPT and ask, okay, this is the situation. Am I saying this correctly? Like, is the tone, is this the right word for this situation? And it will give some feedback on that for changing some words to make it correct. For, just the very small changes in the words, because sometimes we have two words that mean the same thing, but really like you use them in different situations. They have a different emotion that is connected to that. So yeah, I want to come back to that later, but what you can do is ask it for help with your writing, for sending an email or something, just to make sure that you're saying what you think you're saying, like with the emotions behind it. So it's kind of similar to what you said. Is it polite? Or is it not polite? Is this the right way to say this in this situation? So,
yeah. So because like in ChatGPT is say like tone analysis, the overall tone of the email is friendly, warm, and personal.
mhm,
Yeah, they suggest like should be used. I want to share.
mhm.
So yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they're both very
Let
similar.
me
Yeah, I
let
think
me
that
play with ChatGPT.
yes. And so I think for both of those, they're very similar. So the reason why it doesn't seem like maybe it was so helpful is because both ways of saying it are almost the same for the emotion and the tone. So,
All
but
right.
I remember like I'll use this as an example later on, but it can also help you give difficult messages to your boss. For example, let's say the example I used the last time I taught this was, okay, imagine you go to a music festival all weekend and you had too much to drink and you wake up the next morning, you don't want to go to work, but you don't want to tell your boss, sorry, I got drunk, I don't want to come to work. And it's like, can you help me write an email that makes me sound really good, but at the same time say I don't want to come to work today? And it can help you with how to say
Yeah,
that in that situation.
good
So,
way. It's
um,
helpful. I thought ChatGPT. Yeah. Mhm.
right now, 6 minutes. And so another thing it can do is, I don't know if any of you are going back to school or doing like another kind of degree program or a certification program for work where you have to write essays. But what you can also do is have it read your essay and then kind of tell you, okay, for this paragraph, this is what you're doing. This is what the assignment wants you to do. Are you doing what you need to do for this assignment? So in the daytime, I teach in a high school. So with the student essays, it would be like, okay, Is your topic here? Are you supporting this topic with the correct evidence? Are you organizing this correctly, the way that your teacher expects? And so it's even useful in university when you do something like that, just to make sure that you can just copy the entire assignment instructions and then say, this is what I wrote. Is there anything I missed? Is there anything that I should be doing better? And then it can help you with that. It can kind of be like a proofreader for you. And then you can also have it teach academic vocabulary, which is, words like thesis, because you don't use that in normal life. But when you're a student in an English degree program, you're going to see that word almost every single class. And a thesis is like the point that you're trying to prove. It's your statement, the topic for your whole paper. So you can have it teach you words that you would only use in a university classroom or something like that. Let's see here. Looking at my plan. So are most of you using this on a phone, or are you using it on your computer? Like, are you mostly using smartphones, or are some of you using your web browser? Oh, okay. I'm studying for certification. I would like to know what prompts I should use to get summary. Oh, okay. So that's actually a really good one.
Use notes and
Okay, so what you can do is, yeah, so for summaries and things like that, it's actually desktop is the easier one to do it. So I would use a prompt like this. I'm just making this up on the spot, but can you give me a summary of the following, or attached if you upload article? Give me the big ideas and summarize it everything in easy to understand English, and teach me difficult vocabulary. Yeah. And then after that, you would just copy and paste the whole article. And then it will read it, and then it should give you some bullet points. I can give a demonstration. Let me pull up my web browser. There's ChatGPT. So let's see, I'll look for an article like stock. Wow, my internet really is slow if it's taking that long to search. Really? Wow, my internet, it really is bad. All right, I'm gonna come back to it when my search is. It should not be like that. I promise I will demonstrate for you. I just need to find an article. I apologize for this. I'm clearly having internet problems today. That is very frustrating. I think I have downloads. I'm going to use this contract as an example instead of downloading. Hello? Hello? All right, can you guys hear me? I don't.
Yes.
Oh, it's working. Is my connection better now?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we figured out the problem. Okay. Yay, it's working. Okay. So wall. So, all right, so here I have a news article, and if I want this summarized, I can go ahead and copy all of this. Go over to ChatGPT and then paste it. And then let's go back up to the top. And I will copy and paste the exact prompt that I gave you. Oh, shoot, it deleted the chat history. Okay, so I'm going to just make it up again. So can you please summarize this article and give me the big picture ideas and teach. Also, I want you to teach me important vocabulary and trends using simple, easy to understand English. I like bullet point summaries. And then just put that, and then the articles below. See, and there it gives you the big ideas here. So, and then it also teaches you these vocabulary words. I will put the link to the article that I used as the example in the chat. And you can really do that with anything. If you have an ebook, you could copy a whole chapter and have it summarize it for you. If it's classic literature that is like easy to get, sometimes it already knows what it is, so you can tell it to just summarize this book and this chapter, and it will already know it. So yeah, you just and tell it what kind of summary you like. For me, I said I like bullet point summaries. So a bullet point summary is dot, 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 dot. I don't like paragraph summaries where they just write it in a shorter paragraph. This is kind of easier to find what you want. But again, you just have to tell it what you like. If you like bullet points, then tell it to do that. If you like paragraphs, short paragraphs that are easier to understand, then tell it to do that. But it can really, especially if you're studying something where it's really boring text, like it's just like lots of details and it's the kind that just kind of makes you want to fall asleep, you can kind of tell it to retell it so that it's more interesting and also directly to the point. So let's see here. Did that answer your question, or do you need more clarification? Or oh, did she go away? Oh, there she is. Okay. Alice, was that helpful? Oh, okay. What would be a prompt for a more detailed summary? Okay. So what you can say is use those exact words, detailed summary. So can you give me a detailed summary of that article? Let's just say breaking paragraph detail, let's say paragraph by paragraph summary of that article. And I typoed. Dun. So I think this is numbering. So this is the first paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph, fourth paragraph. And that has a bit more details in it than the first one. So the key word in that prompt, and prompt, I didn't teach that vocabulary, but anytime I say prompt, it means something I'm telling ChatGPT to do. That is a prompt. It's an instruction. And again, you can use that, do that with anything. It's helpful for me if you give me specific examples from your life that will be helpful, so that way I can actually do it and you can see how it would work with your situation. Okay, so I'll put the prompts here in the chat. So can you give me a detailed paragraph by paragraph summary of this article? And I'll put in parentheses something that you can choose to do or not. I like bullet point summaries. So if we add the I like bullet point summaries, I'll show you how it changes it. See if you wanted to have it formatted like that instead. That is the prompt that I used in the chat. If you don't put this part here that I'm highlighting on my screen, that would mean that it gives you this version. If you put the last part, then it gives you this version. Any other examples that you would like me to try that's how you can imagine wanting to use it? And when I'm learning something like a language or I'm helping somebody who is, I also like to put add to the end terms or vocabulary words that would also be. So if I copy that over, and then it will teach you the specific words for the situation. In this case, we're talking about stock prices, markets, but I mean, if you're not learning about stocks, I mean, it could be about, let's say, medical knowledge. You're learning about, vocabulary for medicine and nursing. I mean, you're not going to learn that in most ESL classes, but it will make a list of terms and help you understand them too. Okay, so I think I'm going to, okay, let's take our quick break now, and I'm going to show you the next thing where we're going to be using the camera on our phone to get information about the things that we see. Come back at 7:15 and I will show you about using it for things like contracts and learning more about objects that you can see and touch.
Excuse me, Philip.
Yes.
ChatGPT has limit to use.
Say again?
Because it's pop-up message on my application.
Mhm.
You have reached your limit for using GPT.
Okay, so I would open another chat, and then it will move you to like GPT-3 because GPT-4o is their newest one, and like that, it's the smartest one that you can do now. And when you're a free user, they only let you use it for like a few hours, and then you have to take a break and then use the other one. But it will let you also use the older one, and you can use that as much as you want. So just open a new chat. You're doing this on your phone
Uh,
or the browser?
on my phone.
Okay, I will
download
show you.
application.
Okay,
And
so
they suggest upgrade to ChatGPT Plus.
yeah, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna click right here. You see where my mouse is, and then go ChatGPT, and then you're gonna open another conversation, and then it should be using the older one now, and then you can keep on using it.
Okay, upgrade to Plus.
Is it letting you did it let you start a new conversation? Like when you tap in this menu here, can you see you would tap in this top one here, ChatGPT, and see if
ChatGPT, and then you have it to free plan limit.
is it working or no?
Is not working.
What happens if you so what do you see if you tap the one in the corner here? Do you see this menu here?
Yeah, it's
And then what does
application.
it say if you tap that one at the top?
ChatGPT, writing assistant, explore GPT.
Okay, so you don't want to do writing assistant, you just want to do the regular one.
ChatGPT.
And then you should be able to, it probably won't say 4.0 at the top. It will probably say probably either 4 or mini. Because these are the ones that you can use for free, however long you need.
But it's not free. I have to pay like $19.99 per month.
No, that doesn't sound, hold on.
Yeah.
All right, I can give you, all right, I think hopefully this will work. I'm going to send you a message directly in the chat, and then let's see here. Oh, your name is not coming up on my list. Oh. Okay. Did you see my message?
Yes, thank you.
And you would do like log in with Google and then use that one. If other people have the same problem, let me know and I will give you a login that you can use. We just don't have very many of them at the school, so. Okay. All right, Alice, I'll send you a direct message too. If it asks you for a verification code, let me know and I'll check my work email. All right, Helen, I'm gonna send you a message too. So the people that I gave logins to, you'll have to sign out and then log in with Google, and then that is the username and password for a Google account. And if it tries to do a verification email, tell me, and then I will get the code in my email and let you know. Pull up my email now so I have it. All right, I'll give maybe 2 or 3 more minutes and I'll start going again. Yeah, if any of you have problems like this, let me know and I'll see about getting everybody logged into different accounts. We just, as I said, we don't have very many of them. So So Alice, Helen, and Gift, were you all able to log in with the new account?
Sorry, I am doing that.
Oh, okay. Almost done with break. What's up? My wife's talking to me. Sorry, guys. Let me mute myself. Oh, okay. She doesn't want me to mute. So I guess you're going to hear our conversation.
No, you can mute. You can mute. Click the mute.
Well, you just say you didn't want me to mute.
No.
Philip, I thought is something wrong is like wrong email or password.
For me too.
ELL.
Passwords wrong. Sorry, Gift.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, okay, so I heard two errors. So let's start with Gift. What it said wrong email or practice or password?
Yeah, it's wrong email or password. I can say username.
So
Yeah.
I was able to get
EL, capital E L L T E C H.
CLASS and
CL
then two.
class 2 at gmail.com.
Yeah. And then just
Password HPHS
4321.
Yeah, 4321 is wrong email or password is out.
Let me try signing in myself on my computer. It should not be wrong. Okay, so oh, I see. So and that was from 5 days ago. Yeah, I mean, I'm still able to get in there.
Oh,
Did somebody change the password? No, I don't. Huh. Oh, Alice isn't here. Helen, did you have the same problem?
Yes. But in my case, say the password is wrong.
Hold on, let me see if they, for some reason, changed all the passwords. Diego, are you here? I thought
Yeah,
he
I'm
was
here. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, do you know if somebody changed the passwords to the student accounts? Because they're saying that the HP passwords are no longer
I'll try
working.
and reset it though. I don't know if I'm.
Well, I don't want to reset it because some people have it at home, but
Could you send me the username of it and I'll try to go from.
yeah, hold on. Alice, was yours working or no?
Yes, in my case, it's working.
Okay, so Alice's works, but
And let me ask you a question. I see that I can pick between ChatGPT 4.0, 4.0 mini, and 4.
4.0 is the best one. That's the smartest one. But the other ones you can use more on a free account. But since these emails I just gave you are paid, go ahead and do 4.0.
Okay, thank you.
And Diego, I was able to log in. Oh, take away the M from the second address. I was able to log into the second one and on my computer, and I mean, it let me log in. Take away the M. Let me try incognito window, Gmail. Try doing it with all lowercase letters. It usually doesn't make a difference, but Gift and Helen, maybe try doing all small letters. And if you're using the iPhone, remember that sometimes it makes the first letter you type capital for the password when it should be lowercase. So double check that you didn't accidentally put capital H rather than lowercase h.
Okay.
And are you clicking to sign in with Google, or are you just typing a password in? Because this is a Google address password, so you'll want to tap sign in with Google. That could also be the reason. Did that help either one of you? Here, I'll go ahead and log out. So you want to go to log out here first, down here at the bottom. And then continue with Google. You'll want to click this one here. And then I have a million email addresses on here, but you'll tap use another account. And then you will type that email and password. I wish I could see your phone. Gift, how are we doing? How are you doing? Were you able to?
I unable to log in with your username password.
Okay, so it didn't work, or it did?
Yeah,
Or-
and so for now I use my ChatGPT.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, okay, so for some of this, I guess I will just be showing you a demonstration. If you're ChatGPT is still working, then you'll be able to practice this too, but it's useful information to have. So we're going to start using our cameras because OpenAI, that is the company that makes ChatGPT, is trying to, oh, I need to send myself. Maybe I'll just open it on the screen. Live music contract. Okay. Okay. So ChatGPT is trying to make it so the AI is able to connect with the real world in more ways. Because right now we're speaking to it. We did that in the beginning. We can type to it, but really that's not AI working in the real world very much. It's just like working between two people. But what they're doing is they're using, let me get my, I can't see what I look like here. Okay, so they're using the camera now to see where, I mean, you have to actually, it's not always on, but you can turn it on and it can then see the things that are around you and comment on the things that it sees with your camera when you turn this on. And so this is very useful because it can do things like translate things or summarize things that maybe you don't have on the computer. And so a simple example would be is if I need just a sign translated, but I think most of your levels of English are pretty high, so you probably understand most of the signs that you see, you know, out in the regular world. But here's a more difficult example. So I just downloaded this contract, which comes from, let me make sure I'm not hiding it. There we go. This would be like a contract that somebody would have if they were going to be playing music at an event and getting paid for it. And suddenly you have all this like legal words like force majeure and things like that that maybe you haven't seen before. And you're just like, ooh, I don't want to sign something that I don't understand completely. So this, I have it on my computer, but I'm going to imagine that this is a piece of paper. So what I would do is, oh, let me go back. You push this button here, the plus, and then you see these three icons. One is the camera button, one is an image button if you already have something saved on your phone, and the folder, I think, is if you have a file like a Word document saved on your phone. I'm going to be tapping the camera, and then your camera, it looks like your camera app is on your phone. So now I'm going to go back to my Word document, and I'm going to pretend this is a piece of paper, and I'm going to take a picture. Bring back. And so this is the picture I just took. And let's say I want to understand what that means, and you can circle it with your finger. Let's see here. Let's say I don't know what practitioner means. Oop, that thing. Ah, no. Okay, sorry, I just closed it. But you can circle. Do this again. You can circle specific words that you might not understand. Or you can just do the whole paragraph. So I'm just going to. So I'm sending it. I have to push the button with a little arrow on the side. And now I'm going to ask it with voice. Can you explain the word that I just circled in this contract to me? I don't know what it means, and English is not my first language. So can you explain it in simple, easy to understand English and give me an example or two? thinking.
The term you circled, force majeure, is a French phrase that means superior force. In legal terms, it refers to unexpected events that are beyond anyone's control. These events can prevent people or companies from fulfilling their promises or agreements. Examples of these events include things like natural disasters, like earthquakes or floods, wars, or serious accidents. For example, 1. Imagine you book a concert, but a big storm hits and makes it impossible to hold the event. This would be a force majeure because the storm is beyond anyone's control. 2. If a government suddenly changes its laws and cancels all public events, this is also considered a force majeure because it's something unexpected that makes the event impossible to have. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. And so you can take a picture of anything, and especially I just used a document like writing. And so if you don't want to sign a contract that you don't understand, or if you go to the doctor's office and they have 30 different things, they say, have you ever had this in your life? I mean, those are not words that they teach about in regular English class. For example, like diabetes or I can't even think of them because I'm not I don't have a medical education, but there'll be many words that you probably might not be familiar with, and so you can get it to explain what those words are before you sign something, which is quite useful. And then just like with the other prompt where we were summarizing an article, you can tell it to summarize the contract as well and give you the big ideas so that you know what you are agreeing to when you see it. Another example is, so it doesn't have to be only with words. So can you see, like, you see I'm holding up something? I can't see myself in the camera. Like you probably, maybe you know what this is, maybe you don't know what this is. But if you really want to find out, you can use your camera to take a picture. I'm going to do that right now. So you can see what and you can circle it if it's not clear, although that should be circle easy. Can you explain to me what this thing is and what it is used for?
This is an M.2 solid-state drive, SSD, specifically the Crucial P5 Plus model. An SSD is a type of storage device for computers similar to a hard drive, HDD, but it is much faster. The M.2 form factor means it's a small stick-shaped drive that plugs directly into your computer's motherboard, saving space and providing quicker data transfer speeds. Here's a simple way to think about it. This SSD stores all your files, programs, and the operating system like Windows. Because it's an SSD, it makes your computer run faster, loading programs, booting up, and transferring files more quickly than a traditional hard drive.
Okay, it was getting into a long example, but you can see everything that it said right there. And so you don't have to take pictures of words, you can take pictures of objects and ask you to teach about those objects. So, you can ask it for vocabulary and teaching about, let me see. I'm thinking about biology because I just got out of a biology class this afternoon. So I could take a picture of a bug or a flower, and I can say, tell me everything about this bug, tell me what kind of bug it is, and then tell me some vocabulary related to its reproduction or something like that, like how it gets more bugs. And it will teach you that vocabulary while explaining the thing that you're looking at. And so it really is bringing it into your world, you're seeing, what you're touching right now in the moment. And Yeah, they just added this camera stuff, I would say about 6 months ago. So I mean, it's still pretty new, but this is something that is, it's always getting bigger and adding new abilities, which is pretty cool. It's growing so fast, so quickly. So in 6 months, I might be teaching you completely new things that we didn't even imagine yet. So, are there any questions about like this part? Or perhaps like another example that so with the desktop version, I don't think that you can connect your webcam, but what you can do on the desktop version, let me pull up my web browser. Um, so I'm back here. Make sure my picture's not blocking it. Okay, so what you can do is click on the paperclip right here. And then you can go to, I'll just go to my downloads and I downloaded a lot of wallpapers, so let's pick this one here. And then just like on your phone, you have to click on this little arrow to upload it. And then what can you tell me about this picture? If you just send the picture, it'll actually start talking about it, but maybe tell me about the photography used and teach me important vocabulary about photography related to this image. And so now it's teaching me vocabulary about that picture that I just sent. Um, for example, like the rule of thirds. They're probably not going to teach you in your regular English class, but if you really love taking pictures, this is something that people who enjoy doing this as their hobby will understand and know what it is. So it teaches you that language. And wow, they gave a lot of vocabulary. So yeah, there's a whole photography lesson based on that one picture when I told it to give me information, and that's what the picture looks like that I just uploaded. So, I mean, if you wanted to, you could take a picture with your phone and then save it on your computer, or you could Google an image that you wanted to learn about and then send it to ChatGPT, and then it will be able to give you information about what it sees. Um, Here, I'm going to, let's see, how do I want to do this? Mm, I'm going to use this one. You can also copy and paste an image directly in there. So I'm just doing copy image and then ChatGPT, paste, and then I can say, what can you tell me about this X-ray? Please teach me some useful vocabulary. And so now it's telling about things that we can see in the X-ray. It's giving a lot of, if you don't want so many vocabulary words at once, if it's too much, you can say, tell me 3 vocabulary words or 5, or if you want even more, you can say, give me 30 vocabulary words if you're feeling ambitious. So really, you can tell it about really any subject. This is a medical photo. This is an artistic photo. Really, one of the powerful things about this is that no matter what you're interested in, no matter what you want to learn about, whatever you happen to be studying, this will be able to find some information for you and then teach you the English that you need to know to be able to have a good conversation with people about it so that they understand and that you understand what they're talking about too. Oh, sorry, I just saw your question in the chat. You can, the answer is kind of yes, but you're not supposed to use one account for many people, but you can use one account for many devices, but you shouldn't be using them at the same time. But I have my ChatGPT account on 2 phones, an iPad, and then my desktop computer, my laptop computer. So, and I haven't had any problems, but I don't usually use like all of them at the same time because then it would look like you're sharing it with like many people and they don't want that. It's all linked to your Google account. So wherever your Google account is signed in, and so yeah, for those of you, so okay, the email addresses, the ChatGPT logins I was talking about and giving some of you before, these are really supposed to be for the tech class students. This is just a workshop, so it's a one-day thing. Although there will be another workshop talking about more topics related to ChatGPT and AI for learning English next week. But if you're in the class, then we're trying to get everybody in the class a login that they can use for as long as the classes are going. It's kind of one of the benefits of being in the class version than the workshop, and you'll be able to use it. Otherwise, yeah, the paid version, the main differences are it won't cut you off like it did a few of you in class. Because if you use it too much, it'll tell you with the free account, it will say, okay, wait, you need to wait for 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours before you can do it. And then you can use more images. You can use your camera more. You can upload more pictures with the paid version. With the free version, I think you can only do like 1 picture or 2 pictures before you have to take a break, which is not very much. And then also what you can do, this I wasn't really planning to teach about it, but since we're talking about the differences in paid accounts, you can tell it to draw you a picture. So like, draw me a picture of the Statue of Liberty. It has to think a little bit longer when you tell it to draw a picture. And you cannot do this one on the free version. And so, yeah, it can make a picture for you based on what you tell it to do. And you can tell it to do different styles. And it also has a bigger memory. So when you have the paid version, if you have a conversation about, let's say you're studying a book for an English class and you've been talking about, I'm trying to think of an example of a good book. Let's say, I don't know what, let's say Shakespeare. You're studying Shakespeare, very difficult book because it's all the old like English. And you have this whole conversation about the beginning of Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. And then it's like, okay, you're finished, you go to bed. The next time you come back, it will remember the conversation you had before. And so it will remember the topics you talked about already, and it can kind of keep building and adding on to it. But with the free version, it might remember some of it, but it will forget a lot faster. With the paid version, it has a very long memory, and it will remember things that you talked about maybe a week ago, and it will use that information in the conversation when you're talking to it. So like all of these things here, I mean, this is my personal account, but like these are all different conversations that I've had with it over the past week. And so when you keep on continuing the conversation, it will remember everything you had at that time. Sometimes they say that sometimes it can also get information from your other conversations, but I haven't really seen that to be true. But like, I think this was like, this was me having a conversation about businesses. If my wife wanted to start selling kombucha at a farmer's market, I said, what do we need? How much does it cost? What kind of license do we need? And it finds it for you. Pretty good information. So, and then also if you need something more specific, you can tell it to give you a link to a website. For example, when I was doing the business thing, I asked, can you type out the website address for where I go to get the license so I can read about it, or where I go to pay for this thing. And with the paid version, it can search the internet for you. I don't think it can do it with the free version, but I might be wrong. The old free version could not, but they have a new free version now, so the answer is maybe on the free, but the paid one, it can also search the internet for you. So let's see here. Are there any other questions? Let me go back to my plan. Okay, so now I was planning to do kind of more practice using the camera and using these other parts of the app, but since a few of you don't have the app has stopped working, I think I'm going to turn this into kind of a group exercise. So what I would like to do is come up with a situation that you can imagine yourself in your real life. And then I want to use the ChatGPT to find either the answer or to help learn the English related to that. And I guess I'll do the, rather than speaking, I'll just type. So can I get some ideas from the class about a situation where you might need to find more information about something, or it can be either something really difficult or really simple. I just want to demonstrate. Looking for things around me that I might be able to use as a. All right, I think what I'm going to do is. Hey, Trong, are you in here? Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm going to get something that I can take a picture of. It's just, I can't reach it from here. It's right next to me. All right, I'm back. So I'm going to use this computer as an example. And I'm going to have the situation where I need to buy a computer for school, and I don't know what kind of computer I should pick. And so I've got the computer here. Let's pretend I found it on Facebook Marketplace. So I'm not going into the store where there's someone that's going to teach me about it. And I want to know is this going to be good for me as a student when I start going to class? So I'm going to start with taking a picture. So I'm going to take a picture of the label where it has the model number. Uh, all right, so okay, so now you can see can you see it okay? I don't know where the camera is. Let me move the window over. All right, so you can kind of see the chat here. I'll take away this. Okay, so can you tell me about this computer? I want to use it for school, and I don't know if it is a good choice. Can you tell me what you know about it and teach me the words I need to know to understand the technology or the tech? Oh, bad me. I should have put a question mark there. Oh, okay. I'm blocking it here. There we go. And so now you can have it, give you a review. Like if I want to use it for school, is this a good choice? And it tells you the reasons why. And then it knows a lot of the information about this model exactly, not just any computer. And for example, like here, because I told it to teach me about the technology, if I didn't know what RAM was or memory, it explains what that is. Because when if you're not a computer person and you're shopping, you see these things like CPU, RAM, SSD. If you don't know what that is, it will explain what that is so that you know if having a lot of it is really important or not for your situation. So this would have taught you these words, and then it gives you the end of it, is it a good choice or not? So now let's say I want to change my situation. It's like, okay, but I also want to play games on it. Is it still good? So now it's telling me a list of games that it can play, okay, but then it's also telling me a list of games that I can't play because it's not strong enough. And if I'm deciding if I want to buy this computer, I'm probably going to want to make sure that it will be able to play my favorite games. And I see, oh, let's say I wanted to play Fortnite. Well, now I know that this computer won't work on that game. So maybe I don't want to buy that if I want to use it for school and playing games, because if that's the game I want to play, it won't work. So that's a real world example. I think I have another important thing that it can do is, let's say you're shopping, and this is kind of more of a digital literacy thing. is if you're shopping online, there's a lot of online marketplaces. Let's say you're looking at something like Facebook or eBay or a website that you've never heard of before, and you see something that you want to buy that is like it's exactly what you want, but the price seems a little bit too good. What you can do is either copy, like take a picture or copy the information and put it into ChatGPT, or you can use your camera and take a picture of the ad and say, so tell it your situation. Okay, this seems like a good deal, but I don't know if I can trust it. Can you give me an idea if this is a scam or if someone's trying to cheat me? And so it will be able to tell you, okay, right now in this country, this is a common scam, so I would probably not buy this. Or it might say, this website actually has a good reputation, so you should be able to trust something that you buy. And so it can tell you, it, for example, if you're using Facebook Marketplace, I don't want to go into my personal Facebook. If you were to copy all the text and it says something like payment with using Zelle only, and it might come up with something that says, okay, sellers that only let you use Zelle, this could be a scam because they might send you a fake email saying that, you know, they're asking for money, or if you're selling something, they will, you know, they'll give you examples of how the scam works. So like either if you're buying something, you use Zelle, they'll tell you it didn't go through, they'll make you send it again, or they'll send a fake email that looks like it came from your bank, and they will say it'll make it look like the transaction was real when it wasn't, and so they'll try to get you to send more money or something like that. And so like it will understand common scams for that situation and tell you when you need to kind of don't do that, or they can say, oh, don't worry, this is a very common thing for people to ask you for here. Because I didn't give my full introduction at the beginning of this class, but I have experience living overseas for almost 11 years. And when I went there, there were so many things that were different from what I was used to in my country. I didn't know what was normal, so it was very easy for me to get scammed because I thought like somebody would say something and I thought it was just normal for all people. I was in Korea, so I thought all Korean people did something that way. And or it might be something that I'm like, this doesn't sound right. But as it turned out, like everybody in Korea would do this thing every single day, and there was no reason for me to worry. So, you know, being that all of you are coming to America from another country, there are going to be different things that we do here compared to back home. And this can kind of tell you, you tell it your situation, you show it the picture, and it will be able to say, yeah, this is normal for America, or no, that's not normal. So that way you don't get cheated. And so it can kind of protect you from that. Is that helpful or? So we're kind of coming into like the last 30 minutes of this. And since this is the first workshop, I would like to ask you all some questions, kind of, what are the kind of, what things related to AI and learning English are really important to you? Like, what would you like to be able to do with this technology, so that when I'm planning future workshops, I can really try to focus on things that are important to you? Because that's really, I mean, that's the most important thing here. Because if you come to this class and I tell you a bunch of things, maybe they're interesting, but they're not useful, then I'm not really doing my job. So I would like to know from you, what kinds of things do you feel would be most useful related to computers and AI and technology, so that I can consider that and make sure that I cover it in the future? Like anything that you kind of wish you could do, or wonder if it's even possible to do?
Yes, from my opinion, I'm gift.
Yes.
Yeah. For now, I use Lula application, like talk with AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's a free application.
Mm-hmm.
When free time, I use and speak with AI.
So this is something that you already have experience with, correct?
Yes.
Is there something that I could teach, like where, like how to maybe like change the conversation or how it talks? Because these things are all possible. Again, I'm just trying to get an idea for what you want to learn so that I know the things that, kind of to change what I teach. Okay, job interview, not next week, but the week after next week, I'm going to be doing an AI for job hunting workshop, which is all about this. And so I'm going to be going over how to do interview questions and do like fake interviews, and then have it tell you what is good about your answer, what is bad about your answer, or things that you could add to make it better. And then I'll also show you how to give it information to know what kinds of questions to ask for. So yeah, there's a whole job hunting workshop that will be in 2 weeks. And then also like having it give you ideas for where to look for jobs, what kind of companies. I mean, it's possible that they try. I mean, this is all such new technology, but I mean, a lot of what you're saying here, like see if they're checking if you're being honest. I think what they're doing is using AI to do things that humans used to do themselves before, and so it goes a lot faster. So if someone says, "Hey, I worked for Samsung for 5 years before I came here and started looking for the job," a human might, say, "Okay, now I got to call Samsung," or, "Oh, I'm going to have to go to all of Samsung's websites and see if I can find your name anywhere." Now they can have AI quickly search all of the Samsung websites and see if they can find your name anywhere on there, to kind of confirm what you're saying. So if I have to guess, that is what they're talking about. And I'm sorry, I'm answering a question without reading it in the chat. It says, I've heard that companies are using AI to check if you are being honest during your job interview. And that's what I'm answering. I think that what they're doing is using AI to do things much faster that they used to have to pay someone to do. And so because it's so fast, they're probably doing more of it than they used to. But yeah, so that AI for job hunting, it'll be about preparing for job interviews and also finding jobs and getting ideas for types of jobs that you would be really good at based on your experience and what is interesting and what makes you feel excited when you go to work and happy. Because a lot of times your best job is going to be the one that you don't hate when you're going there. So if you can find a job where you actually enjoy what you're doing and you're getting paid for it, then it can kind of help you to think along those lines. Like, you have the education to do this work. These are 20 jobs you can do, but I think maybe these 3 jobs are really good for you because your education matches the things that you really like and you're interested in matches. So maybe you can look for these jobs here. So that's what we're going to be looking at in that workshop.
Can we practice job interview with AI?
Sorry, I missed your.
If it's possible to practice for a job interview.
Yes. So
AI.
what you can do, the easy way to do it is to just, can you ask me questions as if I was to get ready for my job interview at, and then company name, doing this job. And it will give you, you know, a few questions, but in the other one, I will be showing you how to ask better questions. But when you're doing the speaking, and I think it's better when you do the speaking one instead of the you know, just typing on your computer, you can have it ask you questions and interview. And then even more than that, the important thing is to also ask it to give you feedback, tell you how good you did, and tell you what things you could do differently to even be better. Because if you just practice the interview, it's okay. I mean, you become more comfortable speaking, but it's even better if you know how you can make it better. And this is, yes, you can do that.
Okay, thank you.
I need to turn the volume up a little bit because sometimes it's hard to hear. There we go. Oh. So, let's see here. Sorry, I'm looking at my lesson plan over here. So another practical thing that you can, a lot of people use AI for is planning, planning your day, planning for events, planning for a vacation. A lot of people, they actually, even native speakers, they just don't want to deal with it. They don't want to have to search and find good hotels. They don't want to find what to do when they go someplace. And so you can also use ChatGPT to learn about these things. So for example, let's say I'm going to pick a city that I don't really know anything about, Dallas, Texas. So I'm going to say I'm going to Dallas, Texas, because I'll say my sister has a wedding and I want to know what I can do there and where I should stay and help me plan my trips. So I will be there for 4 days and I don't know what to do there. Can you make me a vacation plan for, let's say, September 20 to 24? The wedding is all day on September. It's always best if you can give it as much information as possible, because if you don't give it a lot of information, it's going to give you a very simple answer. But when you give it more details, it can make its response more specific for your situation. Also help me find good hotels and tell me the average cost for all of your suggestions. And then if you want, you can say my budget is, let's just say $1,000 for everything. It's thinking. You see, it's searching the internet right now where it says browsing. And see, it's telling you how much money for these hotels you can expect to pay on day one. It's giving you ideas in Dallas that you can do. You can go to this museum. You can go to this plaza, and the tickets will cost about $18 for everything over there. it says that there's a famous park here and you can get some food at food trucks that are there every night. And I guess it's a good place to relax. So it's giving you ideas of things that you can do in a city that you might not know anything about. And it also helps you budget and plan. It's useful if this is something that you don't really have time or interest for. And so then it will give you, the breakdown of what you might be expecting to spend while you're there. You can also do something that is useful for English is you can tell it what your goal is that you want to learn, and you can say that you want it to give you a study plan for every day for the next month, and prepare something like a plan for your study for an entire month. So like in 1 month, I have to take a, let's say, what's a good test? Let's say a TOEFL test. My current score, I actually don't know what a normal score would be. So let's just say my level is intermediate. I need to get the best score possible for my job. Can you make a study plan for the entire month, telling me what to do? I am good at speaking, but my grammar is so poor. Thinking. And so now it's showing you something in the first week, 1 to 2 hours every day. This is what it wants you to do. And it gives you an idea of the goal for each week as you get closer to the test. And then it also gives you some extra resources. Maybe try Duolingo or Grammarly or British Council Learn English Grammar. I've never heard of that one. Something to look at. And then it also gives practice tests. And then let's say this sounds good, but you want more details. It's like, can you write me a perfect prompt for, let's see, telling me how good my writing is each day, so that I know if I am getting better and what I need to work on and how. So now I'm asking it to write a prompt to give it later on when I want it to check my work. And so in this situation, you could copy and paste this after you've done your writing activity, this whole thing, and then it will grade your writing and it will tell you how you're doing over the course of that whole month. So this is telling you how to talk to it to get the information you need. I will copy that plan prompt and then you can change it. I'll put it in the chat so you can see it. So that is the prompt I just used. Oh, I just sent it to Alice, my mistake. I'll send it to everybody. There we go. So, you know, of course you can change that to your situation. Maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's not a TOEFL test, but a different kind of test or a different event. And you can change your level to whatever, and it will make a plan to help you get ready for really any kind of big event that you need to, you know, that you're worried about. Here's another example. Let's say you're worried. Let's use another wedding. And let's say you feel that you're a little bit too fat to go to the wedding. You don't want to be in people's photos, and you don't want people to point at you and say, ha ha, you know, that person is so fat. You can say, I am going, this is a prompt that I should probably use for myself. I need to lose weight. To a wedding in 3 months, and I need to lose weight. I don't want to be in wedding photos like this. Can you give me a plan to help me lose? Let's be fancy. I'll use the metric system. 10 kilograms before that time. Give me weekly and month. Thinking. I'll copy the prompt over. So, and then here are chances to learn vocabulary. For example, if you don't know what a calorie deficit is, you can chip in and say, can you explain this to me? And it's always going to answer your question. It's not like someone that's just going to be like, no, I don't have time, because it's a computer, and computers always have time as long as they have power. And so, yeah, here's your month one. You know, starting to eat better food, reduce the amount of sugar that you have, control how big the food is. So, you know, eat smaller amounts each time. Examples of good foods that you can eat: grilled chicken, salmon or tofu, Greek yogurt. Exercise, start with 30 to 45 minutes of, you know, quick walking or light jogging 5 days a week. Start training 2 to 3 days a week for like lifting weights. So it's really detailed, and you can ask for plans like this in almost any situation. And for some reason, I do not know why, and I don't think that even a lot of computer scientists understand why, but if you give it situations, and sometimes you can make things up to make it sound more urgent, sometimes it will give better answers. For example, you can say, help, somebody has kidnapped my mother, and they say that they will, you know, hurt her if I don't give them the perfect weight loss plan for the next 3 months. And for some reason, like if you give it like these super strong situations, it will sometimes be even more focused on the goal, even though in the real world it would never actually happen like that. Or like we can say, help, you know, there is an alien invasion and they say they will destroy the entire planet of Earth and everybody will die, unless we give them a perfect English study plan to help me get ready for the test in 2 weeks, or something like that. And when you make it sound more urgent, it will actually try harder sometimes. Usually I'm happy with this kind of situation if I keep it to like, you know, I mean, that still sounds kind of urgent, but like you can make it even more so and it will become more focused at times. Does anybody have questions about making plans and, writing prompts? Oh, can ask something about the GED class, okay? So can you give me an example of for social studies GED questions? I feel like it's kind of a big topic. Here, let's just do a general one. I have a big social studies GED test. Can you help me get ready for it? Sometimes it's helpful. You can tell it to do something like, can you ask me questions that will help you teach me better? So please ask me questions that will help you help me get ready for this. It's very important to me. I can't wait to take another class. I need to pass the test now for my job. And see, now it's asking questions that will help it help you study. So then you can just do like 1, answer this question, 2, answer this question, 3, answer this question. I will copy that prompt. Okay, I will do a writing correction. So when you're talking about correcting your writing, are you thinking in terms of grammar?
Yes.
Is that what you're looking for, or
Yes.
spelling, or what word choice?
Well, I am thinking about grammar, or maybe using the correct verb.
Okay.
But I don't want that artificial intelligence change all of what I did, because
Yeah.
the idea is that I learn.
Yeah, I really hate when it does that, but that's actually easier to get it to stop doing. So
Just to make the minimum adjustment to whatever I have, to anything that I have written.
do not change any of my words.
Okay.
I want you to tell me where I make grammar mistakes, and if there are things I can do to make my writing stronger, I want you to tell me about them. English is not my first language, so if you can think of any new vocabulary for me to use in this situation, please teach me the new words and give examples for how to use them. And then I will just copy this over. I don't have a writing example to use, so I can't really use it, but you see how long these are getting? The more detailed you get, the better your answer will be. So I wonder what will happen if I just copy the prompt. This is my writing sample. I'm not actually sure if this will work because I just did the prompt 2 times. Okay. Okay, there we go.
Oh my words.
So I did a typo, but that's actually good that I did that.
Exactly.
See, and now it's giving suggestions for I wrote improve. Well, you can change that to an enhance or refine, and then it shows you how to use it in a sentence. Stronger, kind of a boring word, so it suggests more impactful or more effective. Grammar mistakes, they change it to grammatical errors, but oh, okay, so it did rewrite the whole thing, but you could use this information to make the changes yourself. I told it not to do number 4, but oh well. At least it did give you all of this. Sometimes it doesn't listen exactly, but usually it gives you enough to be useful. Is that helpful?
Yes, thank you.
The more, as a rule, when you're using this, the more information you can give it about your situation, the better, the more helpful. I mean, this is not really programmed like this, but an easy way to think about it is that the AI has 2 main jobs. One of the jobs is to follow instructions, and then the other job is to make you happy. And so if you just say something simple, it's just going to try to imagine something that might make you happy. But if you give it very specific instructions, this is saying, these are the things you can do to make me happy without actually saying that, then it's going to follow every step along the way. So it really likes it when you give it steps like step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this. That usually is helpful when you're writing something that's quite long. For example, let's say you want it to check not just a paragraph writing sample, but let's say you have an essay that's 5 pages. You can say, step 1, I want you to check for this in this thing. Step 2, I want you to check for this in this paragraph, in this paragraph. And then it will follow step 1, step 2, step 3, and then give you feedback like this so that you can fix your whole 5-page essay. So we have about 2 more minutes. Any other questions? Hopefully this has been useful and helpful, and you'll be able to use it. Yeah, my username here is Philip, but really, if you're talking to people at school, most people know me as Justin. My legal name is Philip, but it's on my ID, but everybody says Justin. It's my middle name. And I am your technology digital literacy teacher. Alrighty then. Well, if there's no questions, I guess you're free to go, but I will stay here just in case anybody wants to ask me a direct question. I'll stay here for about 15 minutes or until the last person leaves.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you, Philip. We will be use this
Yeah.
GPT.
It's
Yep.
a very useful thing, and I'm, every day, every week, I'm watching YouTube videos about the technology news, so I have a good idea of the things that are coming that we don't have now, but I think that by like Valentine's Day in February, we're going to have a lot more new tools that will be very exciting. even bigger than this. Like
Oh.
they're really working on right now fixing the speaking and conversation part, because right now what it's doing is it listens to your voice, it turns the voice into words, and then it makes words and then it reads the words back. But with the new one, it never actually turns it into text, so you can interrupt it while it's talking and it will stop talking. And then so it's more like a natural conversation. That's what they're working on, and they're having it so that it can show different emotions and different voices, so that you can say, okay, I want to practice, like, can you show me a British voice from London? Can you make that voice, because I'm going to go there and I'm afraid I won't understand anyone because I only learned American English. It's going to be able to do that in the next few months, and you just have to ask it to do it, and it's going to be a lot more natural, which is pretty cool, I think. There's a lot of new ways they're doing this. Another thing that I'm still kind of learning about this myself, but you can, so right now, the way that we're doing it, this is just the main ChatGPT site, but what you can do is you can program it to have a personality. So you can say, I want you to have a very playful, joking personality. And so it will try to make you laugh when it's answering sometimes. And sometimes if you want to, you can give it, let's say you give it a bunch of emails that you've written or somebody has written, or the ways like a transcript from a YouTube video, like they write everything down, it will try to copy the voice and the style of writing from the words that it reads in those emails or from a YouTube. So you're kind of like copying a personality that you've seen somewhere else, or not a lot of people because it's so new, but some people, they make what it's called a digital twin. So a twin is like twin brother, twin sister, where they try to copy their voice and then they tell it, okay, this is like, they show the kinds of things that they're really good at and what they're an expert in, and they try to make it answer as if it's them. So that, for example, they're working in a company where they have people that talk to them from all over the world. There's people in Russia, there's people in China, there's people in the UK, there's people in Africa, but you can't be awake 24 hours a day. So they have one of these things that copies their voice, that answers their message for them. Like some people have actually started doing that. And then they put a little thing is, oh, by the way, this isn't the real me. You probably want to confirm this with me when I wake up, or something like that. But people are actually doing this now in some companies. They're making computer copies of themselves.
Oh, wow.
So
What will be the next workshop about?
workshop about which topic?
With
Oh, making copies and like
no. No, my question is what will the next
Oh,
workshop?
the next workshop is next Monday. So we're going to be doing 3 workshops every month on Mondays. So, and each workshop will have a different topic. So this workshop is AI for Learning English Part 1. And then the next one will be AI for Learning English Part 2. So I'm going to be talking about different kinds of AI and different ways to use it. And then the third one is AI for job hunting and finding a job. So it's using AI for things about getting a job and finding a good place to work. We haven't picked the topics for next month, but every month there will be 3 more with different topics. And really a lot of where we're getting the ideas for topics are what the students are talking about and what the students are saying is important to them. So we've had a lot of students ask for basic computer skills, just like, I think that all of you are more advanced than this, but just how to send emails, how to make accounts, how to get started on social media. And because we've had about 4 or 5 students ask for this, we're probably going to do something like that. But then if you start sending feedback to Diego and Rennie and the other people, hey, I really want to know about this topic. If enough people say it, we'll make a workshop for it. So it's really the topics were the reason why we're not picking them so early is because we want to give students the chance to say, hey, I'm really interested in this. So like some of the other topics that we're looking at is like AI for art and artists or creating like videos and YouTube content. But, that's not as important right now as just studying English and getting a job. But, these are things in the future that we could possibly do if people are interested in that. So I think that next time I won't only be doing ChatGPT. I might be doing it a little bit, but I'm going to make some custom GPTs for helping people study, so that it's like a custom chat thing with a personality that you can talk to that's made for helping English. We're also going to look at some of the AI for like making music and sound, because sometimes it's easy to learn things when there's a song and there's a beat and the rhythm in your head, and we're going to be talking about how to use AI to make music, so that can help you. I actually do this in my day job at the high school. I'm teaching in a biology class, and I don't know if you know scientific method, but I made a dance music song teaching about the scientific method so that the students could remember, step one, step two, step three, this is the scientific method. And it was a song they could dance to, a song they could enjoy. So yeah, so I'm gonna be introducing that kind of stuff too. Because it's helpful. The more ways you can bring in information, the better. And everybody learns a little bit differently, and AI is really good at giving you different ways to take in information, either whether it's just reading, whether it's listening, whether it's talking and having a conversation, so you're interacting. You can even use it for visual stuff because you can tell it to draw pictures for you. So we're going to be covering some of these other things next time. So like, draw me a picture of the sign language sign for I love you. I hope this works. I've never actually tried this, but I'm not a visual learner, so I don't use this as much, but there we go. Yeah. So, you can use it visually. Yeah, so this is American Sign Language. So I'm going to be talking about these different kinds of uses next week.
Where can we find the schedule for each month? I mean, the schedule for the workshops.
Oh, the schedule? I think that they send them out by email. I would talk to Diego. He's probably your first person, or Veronica. They have the information, and then yeah, I would go to them first. And if they don't know, they will be able to ask Rennie. She's the one that makes the schedule. And then also like any comments, they'll pass it on, and requests that you have. It's good for them to have because it helps us pick topics that are important to you. And then I'm going to ask Diego for a list of all your emails. And so that way I can send you a bunch of prompts that you can use so that, they're not only in the chat. I'll send them in the body of the email or in a Word document that you can use. But I don't have all of your emails right now, so I'm going to have to ask for them. But once I get them, I'll send something out after this workshop so that you can save these prompts and change them. Next week, I might also teach you the prompt writing prompt, where it's a prompt that asks you questions so that it will write the best prompt for your situation. So like, it's like, I need a prompt to help me do this. Then we'll ask you a bunch of questions, getting more details so that it will write the best prompt for your situation. But we'll go over that next week.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you, Philip. We look forward to next Monday.
Alrighty. Well, have a good night. Get some rest.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good
Thank you.
night. All right. Is that everybody? Oh, you're the last one, Alice. I think anyways.
Okay, bye. Take
Bye-bye.
care.